From Tom Hanks fighting a flesh-eating infection on a remote Fijian island, to Harrison Ford nearly being crushed by a massive hydraulic door on the Millennium Falcon set, these are some of the scariest mishaps to ever happen on a filming set. Tom Hanks. The beloved actor's brush with death came not from an explosive action sequence, but from something as innocuous as a small cut sustained during the filming of Cast Away on the remote Fijian island of Monuriki. What began as a minor sore quickly escalated into a life-threatening staph infection that was literally eating through his leg tissue. Hanks, weakened by his dramatic 50-pound weight loss for the role, initially dismissed the wound's severity. "I got an infection from a cut, and it was eating its way through my leg. I didn't know it, I just thought I had a sore. I went to the doctor, who took one look and said, 'I have to put you in the hospital because we have to get this infection out of you before it poisons your blood and you die.' The infection's proximity to his bloodstream meant sepsis was imminent, requiring 3 days of intensive hospital treatment with powerful antibiotics. While medical emergencies can strike anywhere, sometimes the danger comes from the precise choreography of combat scenes gone wrong. Tom Cruise. During the filming of The Last Samurai, Cruise's commitment to performing his own stunts nearly resulted in decapitation in a scene that required split-second precision and unwavering trust between performers. The sequence involved Cruise and co-star Hiroyuki Sanada riding mechanical horses, while Sanada wielded a real samurai sword, with the horse programmed to stop just before the sword's arc reached Cruise's head. When a mechanical malfunction caused Sanada's horse to continue moving, the blade came within approximately 1 inch of Cruise's neck, threatening instant decapitation. Only Sanada's martial arts training saved Cruise's life, as the skilled actor managed to halt the sword's deadly trajectory through sheer muscle control and lightning reflexes. Both actors later recounted the terrifying moment, with crew members screaming from the sidelines as they thought they were witnessing Cruise's death. The incident occurred during filming in New Zealand, where the production's ambitious practical effects and real weaponry created an authentically dangerous environment that nearly claimed Hollywood's most famous action star. From sword-wielding samurai to devastating vehicle accidents, the spectrum of on-set dangers knows no bounds. Dylan O'Brien. The young star of the Maze Runner franchise faced his darkest hour during what should have been a routine stunt sequence in Vancouver. In March 2016, O'Brien was strapped into a harness atop a moving vehicle when a malfunction caused him to be unexpectedly pulled off, only to be struck by another vehicle in a catastrophic collision. The accident was devastatingly severe. O'Brien suffered concussion, facial fractures including his cheekbones and orbital socket, lacerations and brain trauma that broke most of the right side of his face, requiring reconstructive facial surgery. A WorkSafe BC report later revealed that the rigger holding O'Brien's harness ran out of rope, causing the catastrophic sequence of events. The injury was so severe that production shut down indefinitely, not resuming until March 2017, with the film's release delayed from February 2017 to January 2018. O'Brien's recovery was both physical and emotional, as he described feeling fucking broken during 6 months of isolation and questioning whether he would return to acting. Sometimes the most innocuous scenes can harbor the greatest dangers, as one beloved adventure star learned the hard way. Brendan Fraser. During the filming of The Mummy, Fraser's commitment to authenticity in a hanging scene nearly cost him his life in a moment of miscommunication that turned deadly. The scene required Fraser to have a hemp rope around his neck while standing on a gallows, lightly suspended to simulate choking. But when director Stephen Sommers asked for a more convincing performance, the stunt coordinator increased the rope's tension. Fraser, standing on his toes, lost balance as the rope tightened and began losing consciousness, later describing the experience as a black iris at the end of a silent film, or the Death Star powering down. The next thing I knew, my elbow was in my ear, the world was sideways, there was gravel in my teeth, and everyone was really quiet. Fraser recounted, regaining consciousness after approximately 10 seconds. Emergency medical technicians revived him. Despite the trauma, the take where Fraser lost consciousness was used in the final film, capturing the realism Sommers desperately sought. Water-based stunts present their own unique perils, as one action star discovered when mechanical failure met the unforgiving sea. Jason Statham. During the filming of The Expendables 3 in Bulgaria, Statham's near-drowning experience demonstrated how quickly routine rehearsals can turn into life-or-death situations. While driving a 3-ton flatbed truck for a chase scene near the Black Sea, the vehicle's brakes failed during rehearsal, causing it to plunge over a concrete jetty and sink approximately 60 feet to the bottom, with Statham trapped inside. The escape was perilous, as his gun holster snagged on the seatbelt, complicating his exit from the sinking vehicle in the muddy, nearly pitch-dark water. Statham's survival hinged on his professional diving background, He had been a member of Britain's national diving squad for 12 years and competed for England at the 1990 Commonwealth Games. Sylvester Stallone emphasized that Statham's diving skills were life-saving, noting that the heavy military gear would have made escape nearly impossible for someone without aquatic expertise. Remarkably, after being rescued and dried off, Statham returned to reshoot the scene, demonstrating the resilience that defines action cinema's most dedicated performers. Helicopter sequences present another category of lethal hazard, where split-second reactions can mean the difference between life and death. Elizabeth Shue. In 1987, during the filming of Cocktail in Jamaica, Shue's near-fatal encounter with a helicopter's spinning tail rotor was prevented only by Tom Cruise's lightning-fast intervention and aviation expertise. The incident occurred during an aerial beach scene where Shue, excited after reviewing playback footage, suddenly moved toward the back of the helicopter directly into the path of the nearly invisible spinning tail rotor. Cruise, already a licensed pilot for both airplanes and helicopters, recognized the imminent danger and lunged after Shue, tackling her to the ground by grabbing her legs and pulling her away from the rotor just feet away. Initially, Shue reacted with anger, yelling, "Why did you do that?" unaware of how close she had come to disaster, until Cruise pointed to the tail rotor and explained she had nearly died. Aerial camera operator Bill Bennett, who first shared the story decades later, noted that mandatory safety meetings were not commonly done in 1987, and the tail rotor area was a no-go zone that Shue had either forgotten or never been properly briefed about. From mechanical hazards to the unpredictable dangers of pyrotechnics, early Hollywood's primitive safety standards often proved inadequate. Margaret Hamilton. The Wicked Witch of the West's terrifying exit from Munchkinland became a genuine nightmare when a mistimed pyrotechnic effect nearly incinerated the actress beneath her iconic costume. On December 23, 1938, during the filming of Hamilton's dramatic disappearance in Red Smoke and Fire, technicians prematurely ignited the flames before she was fully lowered through the trap door, causing her costume and the straw from her broom to catch fire. The copper-based green makeup that created her otherworldly appearance intensified the burns, causing second-degree burns to her face and third-degree burns to her right hand. To prevent disfigurement, crew members immediately used rubbing alcohol to remove the toxic makeup from her wounds, a process Hamilton described as excruciating. "I will never, as long as I live, forget that pain of them rubbing alcohol on those two burns." Hamilton was hospitalized and required a 6-week recovery period, during which the copper-based makeup left her skin with a slight green tint for months afterward. She returned to work but refused to perform additional scenes involving pyrotechnics, insisting her stunt double Betty Danko handle them. Tragically, Danko was also severely burned when a prop broomstick exploded. Underwater sequences present their own unique category of mortal peril, where panic and equipment failure can prove fatal within minutes. Ed Harris. During the grueling production of The Abyss, Harris faced a terrifying underwater emergency that nearly claimed his life in James Cameron's notorious water tank. While filming a sequence 30 feet underwater where he was towed while wearing a helmet filled with liquid to simulate a fluid-breathing suit, Harris ran out of air and signaled for oxygen from his safety diver. When the safety diver got tangled in cables and couldn't reach him, another crew member handed Harris a regulator, but it was upside down, causing him to inhale water instead of air. Underwater cinematographer Al Giddings intervened, removing the faulty regulator and providing his own correctly oriented one, saving Harris's life in a moment of underwater crisis. "For a split second, I really thought I was a goner," Harris later recalled of the incident. The ordeal was so traumatic that Harris broke down in tears while driving home that evening, grappling with both the fear of death and disappointment in himself. Harris has largely refused to speak publicly about The Abyss. Sometimes the most mundane props can become instruments of near death, as one Bond actress discovered during what should have been a simple romantic scene. Halle Berry. During the filming of Die Another Day, Berry's attempt to create a seductive moment with a fig nearly became her final scene, when the simple fruit transformed into a life-threatening obstruction. While performing a romantic scene intended to entice Pierce Brosnan's James Bond, Berry was directed to use a fig seductively, but she choked on it, creating a dangerous situation that required immediate intervention. "I was supposed to be all sexy trying to seduce him with a fig, and then I end up choking on it, and he had to get up and do the Heimlich." Brosnan performed the Heimlich maneuver to dislodge the fig, saving Barry's life through his quick thinking and proper first aid technique. In a 2024 interview, Barry praised Brosnan's professionalism and gentlemanly demeanor, noting he restored my faith in men and calling him my Bond. The incident highlighted how even the simplest scenes can turn dangerous, and how quick-thinking co-stars can become genuine heroes. Water-based action sequences continue to pose extraordinary risks, as one acclaimed actress discovered during the filming of cinema's most famous maritime disaster, Kate Winslet. During the filming of Titanic, Winslet's authentic portrayal of Rose's desperate escape nearly became tragically real when her period costume became a deadly trap in a flooding corridor scene. While filming the sequence where Rose and Jack flee a massive wave of water and become trapped by a closed gate, Winslet's long, heavy coat became snagged on the gate, pinning her underwater as the water level rose. I had to sort of shimmy out of the coat to get free. I had no breath left. I thought I'd burst, Winslet recounted in a 1997 interview with the Los Angeles Times. Director James Cameron, unaware of the severity at the time, instructed her to reshoot the scene almost immediately, saying, "Okay, let's go again," while Winslet complied without complaint despite her distress. In another terrifying moment, Winslet was weighted down 12 feet underwater for close-up shots, experiencing difficulties with an air regulator and swallowing water, leading her to refuse further takes after 3 attempts. Physical stunts and practical effects have long tested the limits of human endurance, particularly for action stars, willing to risk everything for authenticity. Jackie Chan. The legendary performer's commitment to authenticity reached its most dangerous extreme during Police Story's climactic mall sequence, where a seemingly simple slide became a near-fatal encounter with electrified death. Chan slid down a 70-foot pole wrapped with string lights during the film's final action sequence, a stunt performed without modern safety equipment like harnesses or CGI, relying purely on his physical skill and minimal protective measures. The string lights were electrified, and during the slide, Chan suffered second-degree burns to his hands due to the heat generated by the lights and friction, with the electrical current intensifying his agony. Upon landing, Chan impacted a glass table, resulting in a dislocated pelvis and damage to his 7th and 8th vertebrae, with some sources indicating a near-paralytic injury. The stunt was performed in one take, as Chan aimed for authenticity, though the pole was coated with a slowing agent that increased friction and exacerbated the burns. Despite the severe injuries, the take where Chan was genuinely hurt was used in the final film, as it captured the realism he sought. Sometimes accidents occur not during elaborate stunts, but in the most ordinary moments when vigilance lapses. Jamie Alexander. The Thor actress's life-changing accident demonstrates how quickly a routine morning can transform into a nightmare of paralysis and permanent disability. In 2012, while filming Thor: The Dark World on a London movie set, Alexander slipped and fell down a metal staircase during rainy conditions around 5 a.m., resulting in catastrophic spinal injuries. The fall caused a herniated disc in her thoracic spine, 11 chipped vertebrae, a dislocated left shoulder, and a torn rhomboid muscle on her right side, injuries so severe she narrowly avoided permanent paralysis. Alexander described realizing she couldn't get up from the ground as a terrifying possibility of never walking again. The following morning, while heading to the hospital, sitting in a car compressed her spine further, causing temporary paralysis in her right leg and right hand due to swelling. She spent a week in the hospital, followed by a month of intensive physical rehabilitation to reduce swelling and regain mobility. While Alexander's accident was a freak slip, television productions can be just as perilous as feature films when prop weapons turn deadly. Matthew Fox. During the filming of Lost's series finale, a prop mix-up during an intense fight scene nearly turned fictional violence into genuine tragedy. The climactic knife fight between Jack Shephard and the Man in Black involved both a real knife and a collapsible prop knife to enhance realism, with the real blade intended for close-up shots and the collapsible one for physical contact. During one take, a critical error occurred when the swap from reel to prop was not executed properly, and Terry O'Quinn, caught up in the scene's intensity, grabbed the real knife instead of the prop and proceeded to stab Fox in the side. Fortunately, Fox was wearing a small Kevlar pad under his shirt, approximately the size of an extended palm, positioned exactly where the staged stab was planned, protection he had nearly opted not to wear because it looked less realistic on camera. Director Jack Bender recalled seeing Fox and O'Quinn laughing after the take, only to learn from O'Quinn that he had fucked up by using the real knife. Where Fox faced accidental stabbing with a real blade, beloved franchises can pose equally lethal risks through seemingly innocent hanging scenes. Michael J. Fox. During the filming of Back to the Future Part 3, Fox's dedication to authenticity in a Wild West hanging scene nearly cost him his life when a carefully choreographed stunt went catastrophically wrong. The scene required Fox to have a real noose around his neck while standing on a small box, with specific instructions to keep his hand between the rope and neck to prevent tightening. But when the crew felt the shots didn't look realistic enough, Fox volunteered to perform without the box for more authentic swinging motion. On the third take without the box, Fox miscalculated his hand positioning, causing the noose to tighten around his neck and block his carotid artery, leading to unconsciousness for approximately 30 seconds. The crew initially mistook his struggle for convincing acting. Zemeckis quickly intervened, halting filming as the crew cut Fox down and revived him, with no serious injuries reported, but filming paused for the day. Fox later recounted in his memoir Lucky Man that the rehearsals had gone smoothly, but the live takes dynamics differed dangerously. Unlike Fox's miscalculated stunt, epic war films combined multiple dangers where both drowning and deadly infection threatened the same actor, David Niven. During the filming of The Guns of Navarone, the distinguished British actor faced a double threat of drowning and deadly infection that nearly ended his celebrated career. The storm scene, filmed at Shepperton Studios in a 200 x 200-foot tank with 6,000 gallons of water using airplane engines and fire hoses to simulate violent waves, created hazardous conditions where Niven was nearly crushed by malfunctioning hydraulics and dragged underwater with his coat caught in machinery. A Cosmopolitan report detailed multiple cast injuries with Niven twisting his spine. The most severe consequence came from a later cave scene where Niven sustained a cut on his lip from polluted water that became infected, leading to septicemia, a life-threatening blood poisoning condition. Niven was rushed to Guy's Hospital in London in critical condition just days before filming completion, with doctors struggling to identify and treat the infection that threatened to be fatal. Production faced possible abandonment as the infection halted filming for a month, with studio executives panicking over Niven's incomplete crucial scenes. Niven defied medical advice and returned to complete his scenes over 3 days, but this led to a relapse requiring an additional 7 weeks of hospitalization. Where Niven battled sepsis from polluted water, controlled magic acts can prove equally dangerous when safety systems fail underwater. Isla Fisher. During the filming of Now You See Me, Fisher's commitment to performing her own escape artist stunt nearly resulted in a tragic drowning when safety measures failed catastrophically. Portraying escapologist Henley Reeves, Fisher was shackled with handcuffs and ankle chains inside a water tank for an underwater escape scene, but her chains became entangled on a grate at the tank's bottom, trapping her underwater for approximately 2.5 to 3 minutes. Despite safety measures including an emergency kill switch to drain the tank in 70 seconds and a nearby safety diver, Fisher was unable to signal distress effectively as the production crew mistook her frantic banging on the tank's glass for acting. Everyone just thought I was doing fabulous acting. They thought I was being Meryl Streep in the tank. Fisher later recounted the terrifying miscommunication. The adrenaline from being trapped caused Fisher to deplete her oxygen faster, and she managed to free herself just before the situation became fatal, maintaining enough composure to avoid drowning. A stunt coordinator eventually noticed her predicament and activated the quick-release switch to drain the tank, ensuring her rescue. While Fisher fought genuine drowning, science fiction productions create very real spinal disasters through simple backflips. Charlize Theron. During the filming of Aeon Flux, Theron's dedication to bringing the animated character to life nearly cost her the ability to walk when a backflip stunt went catastrophically wrong. On the 10th day of shooting in Berlin, while performing a series of back handsprings involving wire rigging and a trampoline, Theron landed awkwardly on her neck on a concrete bridge while wearing platform shoes unsuited for acrobatic demands. The impact herniated a disc perilously close to her spinal cord, an injury Theron described as leaving her a centimeter away from being completely paralyzed for the rest of my life. The injury was severe enough to require Theron to wear a neck brace for a month, and she was paralyzed for a week immediately following the incident. Production was halted for 8 weeks. The incident resulted in 8 years of pain management due to persistent spasms and nerve damage, eventually requiring neck fusion surgery around 2013. Theron called the surgery the best thing I ever did for restoring her physical function after years of chronic suffering. Where Theron suffered career-threatening injury, low-budget horror sets present different but equally genuine workplace hazards. Gunnar Hansen, the towering actor behind the Texas Chainsaw Massacre's iconic Leatherface, faced genuine mortal peril while wielding the film's most infamous weapon during a chase sequence that nearly claimed his life. While filming a scene where he pursued actors with a real operational chainsaw, Hansen slipped in the mud, sending the running chainsaw flying through the air to land just inches from his head when it hit the ground. The use of a real chainsaw was a budget-driven decision to enhance authenticity, but Hansen's limited visibility due to his heavy Leatherface mask and 3-inch heels added to make him appear taller significantly increased the danger. In his 2013 book, Chainsaw Confidential, Hansen detailed covering his head as the still-running chainsaw landed mere inches away, emphasizing the genuine danger posed by the live weapon. The production faced other dangerous incidents, including Hansen cutting co-star Marilyn Burns' finger for real during the dinner scene due to issues with fake blood dispensers. This near-fatal moment exemplified the raw, dangerous authenticity that made the Texas Chainsaw Massacre both a horror masterpiece and a testament to the physical risks actors faced in low-budget 1970s filmmaking. While Hansen dodged a chainsaw by inches, boxing films transform choreographed violence into actual medical emergencies. Sylvester Stallone. During the filming of Rocky IV, Stallone's pursuit of authentic boxing realism nearly killed him when he instructed his co-star to abandon choreography and fight for real. Stallone specifically told Dolph Lundgren, a former European Kyokushin karate champion, to just go out there and try to clock me, emphasizing that the first minute should be a free-for-all to capture raw intensity. During the final fight scene filming, Lundgren landed a powerful uppercut to Stallone's chest that slammed his heart against his ribcage, causing a condition known as myocardial contusion that made his heart swell and his blood pressure spike to a dangerous 260. The injury was likened to trauma typically seen in high-impact car accidents, and Stallone was airlifted from Vancouver to St. John's Regional Medical Center in Santa Monica on a low-altitude emergency flight. He remained in intensive care for 4 to 9 days, surrounded by nuns, with Stallone humorously recalling he thought he was going to be talking to angels due to his critical condition. Doctors noted that such heart injuries are rare but can be life-threatening if untreated, and the infection was close to reaching his bloodstream, which could have been fatal. Unlike Stallone's internal injuries from human combat, animal-based westerns bring unpredictable external threats. Johnny Depp. During the filming of The Lone Ranger, Depp's commitment to authentic horseback riding nearly resulted in trampling death when equipment failure created a perfect storm of danger. While performing his own stunt riding a horse named Scout at full gallop in a desert scene, the saddle designed to appear as bareback riding was loosely rigged for visual effect, contributing to a catastrophic accident when the horse jumped over small obstacles. As the saddle slipped, Depp lost his grip, slid to the side, clung briefly to the horse's mane, and was dragged approximately 25 yards before falling, with the horse's rear hooves clipping his chest and leaving a hoof-shaped bruise. Crew members audibly shouted warnings as they rushed to his aid, with the horse's hooves coming dangerously close to Depp's head in what could have been a fatal trampling. Remarkably, Depp sustained only minor bruising and quickly regained his composure, joking, "Chicks dig a broken bone," and noting positively that his coccyx didn't take it. Depp credited the horse's instincts for lifting its front legs to step over him, preventing what he described as facing this death machine of muscular horse legs and hooves. Where Depp faced trampling by horse hooves, early Hollywood's chemical experiments created equally life-threatening but invisible dangers. Buddy Ebsen. Ebsen was cast as the Tin Man with makeup consisting of aluminum powder mixed with white clown makeup base applied directly to his face and exposed skin to create the character's metallic appearance. After approximately 9 days to 2 weeks of filming, Ebsen began experiencing severe symptoms, including difficulty breathing, chest pains, and muscle cramps that worsened to incapacitation as the aluminum dust coated his lungs. The aluminum particles caused a condition akin to aluminosis, a form of pneumoconiosis, leading to respiratory distress severe enough to require hospitalization for 2 weeks in an oxygen tent. In his autobiography, The Other Side of Oz, Ebsen described waking up one night unable to breathe, feeling as though his chest was being crushed. "I was in the hospital for 2 weeks, and it took me a month to recover." Ebsen reported that the aluminum dust coated my lungs like paint and caused lingering effects, including occasional cramps for years afterward, though he recovered sufficiently to enjoy a long career. While Ebsen battled aluminum poisoning, modern political thrillers inflict different but equally devastating physical trauma. George Clooney. During the filming of Syriana, Clooney's commitment to a realistic torture scene resulted in a devastating spinal injury that brought him to the brink of suicide and changed his life forever. While shooting a torture sequence where his CIA operative character was strapped to a chair and beaten, the chair was kicked over, causing Clooney to fall and strike his head on the floor, tearing his dura mater, the protective membrane surrounding the brain and spinal cord, causing spinal fluid to leak. The scene reportedly required over 20 takes, increasing the physical strain, and initially the severity wasn't apparent as Clooney continued filming, unaware spinal fluid was beginning to leak from his nose. For weeks, doctors struggled to diagnose the cause of Clooney's excruciating headaches, confusion, and full-body pain described as feeling like a stroke, until actress Lisa Kudrow's neurologist brother properly identified the 2.5-inch tear in his back and half-inch tear in his neck. Treatment was grueling, including about 15 blood patch procedures over 15 days, each akin to a spinal tap while awake, plus a 9-hour Christmas Eve surgery to address the dural damage. Unlike Clooney's internal spinal damage, vehicle stunts create external trauma that can be just as permanently disabling. Uma Thurman. During the filming of Kill Bill Volume 2, Thurman's car crash became a symbol of directorial negligence and studio cover-ups that haunted her for 15 years. Thurman expressed concerns about the safety of a 1973 Karmann Ghia convertible prior to filming a driving scene, with a Teamster warning her the vehicle might not be functioning properly after being reconfigured from manual to automatic transmission. When she requested a stunt driver, director Quentin Tarantino insisted she drive herself, assuring her it was safe. The car lacked basic safety features, including roll bars, shoulder belts, or head restraints, with an unsecured seat, and the road was actually curved and sandy, making it difficult to control, contradicting Tarantino's assurances. During the scene, Thurman lost control, veered off the road, and crashed into a palm tree, suffering a concussion, permanent neck damage, and permanent knee damage that affects her mobility to this day. While Thurman's crash resulted from directorial pressure, even advanced productions with veteran actors face mechanical dangers. Harrison Ford. During the filming of Star Wars: The Force Awakens, Ford's return to the Millennium Falcon nearly ended in tragedy when a massive hydraulic door became an instrument of potential death. In June 2014 at Pinewood Studios, Ford was standing in a doorway of the Millennium Falcon, set talking to director J.J. Abrams, when a hydraulic door was accidentally activated and closed at high speed, striking the 71-year-old actor. The door hit Ford on his left hip with the force comparable to a small car, flinging his left leg upward, dislocating his ankle, and driving him to the floor where his leg struck the ramp, fracturing both bones in his left leg. Prosecutors later noted the accident could have been fatal had an emergency stop button not been pressed in time, as Ford was not expecting the set to be live during his casual conversation with the director. Ford was airlifted to Oxford Hospital, where he underwent emergency surgery, likely involving inserting a plate and screws to stabilize the fractured ankle, halting production for approximately 8 weeks. Where Ford survived mechanical failure through emergency intervention, classic horror productions subjected actors to psychological manipulation that created equally permanent physical damage. Ellen Burstyn. During the filming of The Exorcist, Burstyn suffered a permanent spinal injury that exemplified director William Friedkin's dangerous pursuit of cinematic realism over actor safety. In the scene where Chris McNeil is violently thrown across the room by her demon-possessed daughter, Burstyn was rigged with a harness attached to a wire that a stuntman pulled to simulate the impact. But despite her warnings during rehearsals that the wire was being pulled too hard, director Friedkin dismissed her concerns. Friedkin reportedly said, "Well, it has to look real," and instructed the stuntman to pull harder despite Burstyn's protests about potential injury. During the take that caused the injury, Burstyn was pulled with such force that she landed heavily on her coccyx, fracturing her tailbone and causing permanent spinal damage, letting out a genuine scream of pain that was captured and included in the final film. As Burstyn shouted, "Turn the fucking camera off," Friedkin directed the cinematographer to zoom in on her pained reaction before stopping the scene, with no immediate medical attention provided. Burstyn was placed on crutches for the remainder of the 9-month production with grueling 6-day weeks and 12-hour days, and the injury continues to affect her lower back decades later. Found this information shocking? Be sure to check out other similar and amazing videos on the screen. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.